All right, we're live. Okay, everyone, welcome to the most ignorant morning show on the web. This is your boy, the crew philosopher here, and I'm going to be doing this show every morning. Not every morning. Every morning, there's something worth talking about because someone has to, speak honestly about all of this news going on here, and it's going to be me. And so today, I'm going to be talking about AOC crying on Instagram, Chloe Bailey, searching for self-esteem on the internet, and then Clubhouse later on, because there have been some disturbing things that have taken place on that platform regarding, African Americans, just Black Americans, period. And so, I hope you guys enjoy the show. So, number one, AOC. AOC was on Instagram Live last night, crying and recounting her experience at the Capitol. And she's gotten praise over Twitter and social media about she's such a brave young woman, and oh my God, can you hear this? And this is beautiful. And AOC is falling into the trap. She's falling into the trap where uh, she's feeding into a social media loop. A social media loop, and social media is dangerous in this way where uh, it provides you with all of the commentary that you're searching for. So if you are out there, searching for a sympathetic ear and you're a famous person, social media is going to give it to you. If you're looking for people to thirst over you, like Chloe, what's that girl name? Chloe Bailey, it'll give it to you. Social media will give you anything you're searching for if you're a celebrity. And so AOC is she's as much a celebrity as she is a congresswoman. And so she's on Instagram Live crying about what happened at the Capitol, and I think she needs help, right? Now, I'm someone who personally, I like AOC. I said, a couple of months ago that I think it was last year that I think AOC had a really good shot at being kind of the first female president because, number one, she's very spontaneous. Number two, she's spunky. Number three, she endorses popular policies. Now, I'm not saying that these policies are good or anything, but they're very popular. Number four, she's very attractive. So I've been saying for a while that AOC, she has a shot to be the first female president. Amazing. But over the past year, she has been kind of losing it. And it started before the Capitol. The Capitol was kind of, I think, the cherry on top, but she's been kind of making statements in the press for a while now that has suggested to me that maybe she needs to step away from her life in Congress. I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of I think it was last year or maybe the year before that, she had comments about her future in politics, and she was saying that she wasn't sure that she had a future in politics because she wasn't prepared for the constant attacks. She wasn't prepared for the life that comes with being somebody that is in Congress. And that was my first light bulb that said, "Oh, AOC's not built for this. She's really not." And seeing her behavior post the Capitol riots, whatever you want to call them, it's kind of solidified exactly, what I've been feeling. And so my message to AOC would be, you have to get help, AOC. I was jumped around 5-6 years ago. I was walking through the park on my way home from work, and I was jumped. And I live in New York City. That was an extremely traumatic experience for me, being jumped. It was extremely traumatic. To this day, I'm not back to normal. I'm not myself, so to speak, but I'm also not representing Americans in Congress. And so the behavior that AOC is engaging in on Instagram, to me, is not cute. It's not cute. It's not enlightening. She's not brave. She needs to get help. Do you really want someone like AOC representing you in Congress? Like, politicians are supposed to be clear-headed. They're supposed to be looking out for the best interests of Americans, for the country. How can you be looking out for our best interests if you are clearly scarred by an incident? And so this was her like second or third time on Instagram Live recounting her, experience. And then she reveals, that she's a sexual assault survivor. And now I'm thinking to myself, so maybe what happened at the Capitol was AOC was reminded. Oh no, what happened at the Capitol? AOC kind of had like a flashback to whatever trauma she was holding on to from the time that she was sexually assaulted. And I would tell AOC, you have to get help. You do. But no, this behavior should not be celebrated. It shouldn't be celebrated. It shouldn't be condoned. Should we understand? Maybe, I guess we should understand. But really, social media is not the place for you to air out trauma. It's not the place for you to air out your grievances. It's not. Do that in the confines of an office, of a therapist. Do that amongst your friends. Do that amongst your family. Social media is not the place for you to do that. And as a congresswoman, you should not be just revealing your most vulnerable self to the public like this, AOC. And I'm not being mean. I'm being honest. No one in her corner is telling her this. And she's looking at the number of people that show up to her Instagram live, or the people that, retweet it and comment in the comment section. She's looking at that thinking that what she's doing is a positive thing. What she's doing is a good thing, but it's not. And so for her own mental health, and her own, safety, and I want her to get help, but also, Jason Woodlock, who I follow on Twitter, he tweeted something that I agree with 100% and needs to be taken into account. So let me go ahead and find Jason's tweet, because I thought this was really, really profound what he tweeted, because it's exactly what I've been feeling for the past couple of days. And he tweeted this: think this through. American kids grow up in zip codes where shootings are daily occurrences. Murders happen 6 to 10 times a year. Not uncommon to be forced into a gang. Our politicians do little to protect them and really speak of them. But January 6th was 9/11 to AOC. Get the F out of here. My sentiments exactly. Yes, it was probably traumatic being in there and having people rush into the Capitol. But regular Americans go through things like this all the time. Literally all the time. I just told you that I was jumped, but I'm not on Instagram crying and airing how I feel to the world all the time. And see, what I really think happened at the Capitol, really, and this is not just AOC, this is all those politicians, because they have been speaking about the U.S. Capitol incident, calling it a riot, an insurrectionist, calling these people domestic terrorists. But the language has really been flamboyant, describing the people that stormed the Capitol. But I think these politicians were reminded that they are not untouchable. That's what I think happened, and that's what I think is driving all of this insane rhetoric. They were reminded for the first time in probably years that they are not untouchable, because they probably feel untouchable. I mean, that's the only explanation I have as to why Congress seems to be so, unproductive. You would have to not care about people. And you would have to be emboldened by the fact that you think nothing is ever going to happen to you. Because for years, nothing has ever happened to these people. And so what happened at the Capitol, that was the first time where they realized, oh my God, I'm touchable. Like, people can touch me. The first time they realized that. And it scared the hell out of them. And so now they're using this supercharged language so that they can go and use the tools of the government to craft some legislation to protect themselves again, so that they can feel better about moving through the world. That's what's happening to all of these politicians in general. But AOC has deeper problems that she needs to handle. But, AOC, if you ever watch this video, don't fall for the social media trap. You are not in a good space, regardless of what people are telling you in the comment section, regardless of what people are DMing you on Twitter. You need help. And you might need to just step away from life as a politician, because you can't represent people whining and crying the way that you are in public. People want their representatives to be clear-headed, to be honest, to be thinking about the ramifications of their decisions. And if you are hysterical like this, you're going to lose your support amongst people who are going to vote for you, or you should, lose support. People might like you so much that they'll just ride it out, but you should lose support. And so, I just want to leave this story with one thing here, which is Teddy Roosevelt was given a speech, and he was shot, and he was hit by that bullet, and he proceeded to finish the speech. My, have our politicians have fallen right now. Next, who we have up next? Chloe Bailey. Now, Chloe is that little girl from, what is this? Chloe and Haley. That group is like sisters that do music together. But trust me, based on Chloe's recent moves, we are about maybe 2 months before she drops a solo project and wants to do her own solo career. I can already see it. And she was on Instagram, once again, crying. On Instagram, crying. And she was crying because people, or a certain segment of individuals, were being critical of the fact that she was doing, she was acting like an Instagram model, right? And she's been steadily moving towards this like sexualized version of herself recently, where it started with her doing like the Busted Challenge. And she's a very attractive woman, beautiful Black woman. So she does the Busted Challenge first. And then I think a couple of days later, she does the Silhouette Challenge, right? It's that thing where girls, where they dance either in their underwear or naked, but the lights are off. So you just see the silhouette of their body, right? It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Once again, she's a beautiful woman. And then she was on Instagram, like walking around in her underwear. In fact, let me see if I can find this video of her walking around in her underwear. Right? Because it's a pretty big deal. Let's see. AOC. I'm sorry. Let me see. Chloe Bailey Instagram. Let's see. I'm gonna find this video because she was walking around Instagram in like her underwear. All right, I think I found it here, but it's somebody else's YouTube. So let me see if I can find a specific part of the video where she's no. All right. Sorry, guys. I should have been prepared for this part of the live. Let me see if I can find like a still. Well, I'm not going to spend all day looking for this. So she's on Instagram Live in her underwear, walking around, and women started commenting, and women is a strong, like, okay, here we go. All right, hold on. Now I see what we're going to do. All right, so I'm going to show you guys exactly what was going on. So look at this. So she's walking around her underwear on Instagram, doing her thing. Good vibes only. Beautiful woman. Like I said, beautiful woman. And this is her thing, dancing around in underwear on Instagram. And this behavior is not, like, it's not just Chloe doing this. This has been kind of is a woman thing recently, where they're all selling sex now. So that happens. Then she goes on Instagram and she starts crying. And I'm gonna end this share here. Sorry. Right? And so then she goes on Instagram and she cries because certain women were commenting about her, saying that now she's showing off. Now she's, turning into a thought, turning into like an Instagram hoe. And she was crying on Instagram, saying that the reason why she acts the way she acts now is because she finally loves her body. And once again, this is an example of where social media will lead people, but especially women, down the wrong feedback loop, because it'll make you think that what you're doing is correct, but it's not. Chloe is a girl who she came from a pretty good family from what it looks like to me. I remember seeing her on a Breakfast Club, and she was there with her sister, and I think her father was there as well. And so it seemed like she had a man in her life, which is a great thing. She looks to be somebody who was very, very sheltered, though, right? Like sheltered from the real world. Someone whose father kind of probably kept her away from being sexualized as much as he could. But now she's a woman now. She's early 20s. I think she's like 20 or 21 or something like that. Early 20s. And she's falling into the same social media trap that everyone else falls through. And so she puts it out there. Some women are critical. It was absolutely the minority of women, because all I see with Chloe is Black women celebrating her. You go, girl. Yeah, you know what? Oh my God, look at Chloe. She's looking thick. She's out there slaying it. That's all I saw on my timeline. I did not see anybody criticizing Chloe, right? She probably saw the minority of comments from women who were criticizing her, and it broke her down. And so she was crying on Instagram. And then what happened in response to her crying on Instagram, she was rewarded by all of these celebrities and think pieces about, oh my God, protect Chloe, and Chloe's doing nothing wrong. She's just being a girl, embracing her inner beauty. Stop policing the bodies of Black women. All of this shit, all of it, and that's not confidence. We have to move away from this belief that unless you are, for men it's different. For men it's if you're not cursing, being super aggressive, you're not keeping it real. And for women, if you're not showing your behind, if you're not, walking around, on your Instagram in your underwear, then you don't love your body. It's okay to be a normal person. Right? It is okay to walk around the world and not show your body and still be confident. You don't have to show everyone what you're working with. You don't have to show everyone what you got. You don't. And we need to have this conversation, because a lot of girls are getting this message that unless they put their body on the internet for public consumption, then they don't love themselves. Right? So let me read you some of what she said on her Instagram Live after she got the flack, right? She says, "It's really hard for me to think of myself as a sexual being or an attractive being, quite frankly," she admitted. "So when I see all the uproar about my post and stuff, I'm a bit confused. Like, I really don't understand, because I've never seen myself in that way or in that light. So I take it as a huge compliment that you all see me as a sexy being. I don't post what I post to get attention. I don't need that. Chloe, that is a lie. If you didn't want the attention, you wouldn't post anything. The biggest lie in the world. You do want attention. You seem to need it a lot. And so you're constantly upping the ante to get the attention that you got before. And that's the feedback loop from social media that I keep talking about. You post one thing, you get a lot of likes and comments. So then if you post the same thing, you're not going to get as many likes and comments. So now you have to go a step further and post something more salacious. And the next time, more salacious. And now we're in a world where walking around in your underwear for the world to see is considered normal behavior, when it is not normal behavior. And so Chloe's saying that she's not looking for attention when she clearly is looking for attention. That's why she did the Buster Challenge, right? Because she knew what the attention she knew the attention she would get. It's why she did the silhouette challenge, because she knew the attention that she would get. And it's why she was walking around in her underwear on Twitter, because she knew the attention she would get. She continues, I'm such a nerd. Like, I'm not worldly at all. But when I perform and when I make music and when I dance, that's when I get to tap into the sexier side of myself. And that's where I find my confidence. I'm not going to cry this time, she said as she began to tear up. So it really means a lot to me when I can finally get to a place where I share who I really am. And I've been like really insecure for a long time. And I'm finally like at that place where I have self-confidence. And I'm really happy that I get to share that with you all. And then she says, for every woman out there, don't change who you are to make society feel comfortable. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? This is what I mean. This is the single track thought process you are allowed to have. Anyone who says, Chloe, maybe not just, walk around Instagram in your underwear. Oh, I'm trying to police a woman's body. I hate women. I'm a misogynist. No, I'm looking out for you, because clearly you're not as confident as you are if you had to make an Instagram video in response to people's criticisms and you're sitting there crying. Avoid the social media. If I could title this live stream, which it's not titled what I want it to be titled, I would title it "Avoid the social media feedback loop." Avoid the social media feedback loop. That is what I would tell all of these young women. Right? AOC needs to avoid the social media feedback loop. Chloe, you need to avoid the social media feedback loop. Avoid it at all costs. At all costs. And then now she's being rewarded because the cleanup process is happening. So everyone is showering her with praise after she was crying on Instagram. Celebrities are releasing statements telling her, you go, girl, keep it up. And all that's going to lead to is she'll be dropping some sexy stuff in a month from now, and somebody's going to say something, and she'll be back crying in this constant feedback loop of attention. So, Chloe, I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell AOC. You don't have high self-esteem. You need to get some, and you're not going to get it from social media. AOC needs mental help from a professional. You need to find a way to feel confident about yourself that doesn't require men and women in your comment section thirsting over you and showering you with praise. Avoid the trap. Avoid the trap. And I have a couple minutes left here. I'm going to end my first, show with a conversation about Clubhouse. So if you don't know about Clubhouse, Clubhouse is an app, a drop-in live audio app where you have conversations with people in real time, and it's only for iPhones right now. I am on it, and many of you will be on it if you're not on it now within the next couple of weeks or months. But there is a disturbing trend that has been taking place on Clubhouse that I need to speak about, and that is there are Black conversations taking place on that platform that are really, really destructive, where I can tell the intent of whoever started these rooms are not to achieve a resolution or to help Black people grow. It is simply to exploit the pain that we live with. So, for example, for every day for the past 2 weeks, I have seen rooms on Clubhouse titled the following. These are not exact title quotes, but something to the effect of, light-skinned women can never be oppressed, or why do dark-skinned women, disrespect light-skinned women, or Black men don't love Black women, or why do Black women get upset when they see a Black man dating a white girl? And these have been rooms consistently by different people. So it's not just one person responsible for all of these rooms. These rooms are being created day after day after day by different Black people. And then you have the whole African Americans are the white people of the diaspora. That was the actual title of a room. And these titles are not created to help Black people achieve a healthy place or a healthy space amongst each other. These titles are not being created to promote positive conversations that need to happen, because we do have to have conversations that are difficult to have but still necessary. But that is not the intention of these rooms being created. These rooms are exploiting Black pain so that people can increase their followership on Clubhouse. And I'm calling it out. And I'm warning Black people to avoid the social media trap. When you see the title of these rooms and it is extremely flagrant, you are going to have the urge to go and check out what is being said. I'm not going to sit on here. A lot of you guys will say that, oh, I have never gone inside the rooms, because I have. So I fall for the trap as well. And sometimes the titles are meant to be more inflammatory than the conversation in the room. That is true. So there's been rooms where that they've had titles like that. I've gone inside, and I will say the conversation was not that bad. In some cases, it was pretty good. But those were the exception. For the rule, it was just as toxic, as dysfunctional as I should have assumed it would be based off of the title. And so what we have to do as Black Americans, whether you're African American, African of any sort, Caribbean, whatever you're from, we have to make sure that we are not rewarding bad actors on these apps. Don't reward the trolls, right? If you go into a room that is titled, light skins versus dark skins, and I would urge you, don't even go in there. But if you can't fight the urge, like, for me, I haven't been able to fight. If you can't do that, then once you go in and, you listen to the conversation taking place on stage, and you see, okay, this is just back and forth, throwing dirt, leave the room. Don't reward these people with these insane, 100, 200, 300 people listening right now numbers. Don't even, no, because that is rewarding bad behavior. Leave the room. Get out of the room. There's a question to be had about whether or not Clubhouse is the space for those type of inflammatory conversations. But even if you want to have those type of conversations, you know what? You do it. If you are someone who thinks, you know what? Yes, Black people need to have these conversations about colorism and dating and the way Black men treat Black women and vice versa. Cool. If the conversation that's been had in that room is irresponsible, leave. Create your own room. And then have an actual healthy dialogue. Our pain is being exploited, and I don't like to see that. And so that's kind of all I wanted to say to end the show out. Just Black people, protect your mental health on these apps, on social media, and don't engage in the war, the cyber war. There's like the cyber Black man versus Black women war taking place that I don't think is reflective of Black Americans in total, right? I think what happens with social media, we get the impression that if we see a certain type of conversation taking place online, we have the bad habit of believing that more Black people believe this than there actually are. You have to remember, social media rewards the extremes. Many of us use social media, but most of us don't really make videos like I'm making right now, a live stream. And so if I said something on here inflammatory, you might fall for, you might believe, hey, is this how most Black men feel? That's not true. Remember, I'm the exception. Most people don't do this, right? Most Black Americans aren't on social media, and those that are on social media, it is still a small portion that make videos, a small portion that will tweet some anti-Black man or anti-Black woman thread on Twitter, or make a long Facebook post. And so always remember, those people are the exception. They are not the rule. All right. So I'm going to end there. Thank you for listening to my first, the most ignorant morning show ever recorded. All right. I'm interested to see how this turns out. Yeah, I might see you guys tomorrow, depending on if anything interesting happens between today and tomorrow. So with that being said, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Deuces.